Everyone in hockey was talking about this. January 24th, the Canes, Avalanche, Blackhawks, big names on this board. Big names. It's the kind of stuff we want to talk to Dave Pagnotta about, and that's why he joins us right now. The Avs surprised the whole hockey world. Mikko Rantanen to the Canes. What can we expect from both of these teams moving forward?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they navigate this rest of the season, especially the pathway down towards the March 7th trade deadline. Colorado still feels like they're in a position to obviously compete, and they're going to look to add. Now, they've got a decision that they need to figure out here with respect to their captain, Gabe Landeskog. Is he going to be back? Can he be part of their mix for the duration of the season? If they can't have him back, they'll have the rest of his money that they can utilize and go over the cap with respect to LTIR. So they're going to continue to look. They're going to look to add. It's no secret that Colorado wants to address their 2C position and upgrade themselves up the middle and provide them with additional offense and additional potency. So that's something they're going to continue to look at as well. From Carolina's side of things, I think they're looking depth. I think they would like to, they move out Jack Drury, who ends up in Colorado. I think they'd like to address that position moving forward ahead of the deadline. A guy like Ryan Donato out of Chicago at a $2 million clip, certainly an attractive piece. Jake Evans out of Montreal at $1.7 million. That's going to be a potential for them to pursue and determine at that point if the cost is worth that pursuit. But Carolina certainly still looking, Colorado as well. Both of these teams are not done moving forward.
The third team in that three-way blockbuster deal, the Chicago Blackhawks. What can we expect from them in terms of their moves to make ahead of the deadline?
Yeah, outside of selling guys, they've got, I mentioned Donato, they've got Alec Martinez, they've got a few other pieces that they're likely to move. But this is also a team that wants to bring in, and Kyle Davidson, their general manager, has acknowledged that, they want to bring in a veteran presence as well. They'd like to bring in somebody who can slot into their top six that can help some of the younger kids grow and continue to develop, including Connor Bedard. They're going to be looking around to find somebody who has some term, who's a veteran guy, who can create some net front presence as well and create offensive opportunities, likely on the wing. There's some assets that are out there that they've been looking at. You look to a couple examples being, you look at Pittsburgh. They've got a few pieces they're willing to move out. They've poked around on Michael Bunting in the past. That could be a potential fit for them. And if you stay in that same division, the New York Islanders have their captain, Anders Lee, as another potential fit. They inquired about Lee in the summer. They had some conversations. I don't know if they've re-engaged to this point, but that's another example of a potential fit for them. He's a guy with one more year on his contract, just like Bunting. He's at $7 million. Bunting's in the 5 range, I believe. But those are the caliber players that they could circle back on and pursue, and that's the type of player that they would like to bring into Chicago's lineup.
From talking about the current Hawks, a former Hawk, Brandon Saad, a veteran. The Blues and Saad mutually agreed to part ways today, giving both parties flexibility going into the deadline. What can the Blues, and I believe in Doug Armstrong, do with this extra cap space, and what teams would benefit from adding Brandon Saad?
Yeah, they're going to create some extra. That $4.5 million clip gets eliminated from their cap once he clears unconditional waivers later this week. So it gives them more flexibility, as you said. And they're a team that has been looking for, first of all, they tried trading Brandon Saad for the last month or so. They obviously weren't able to make that work. But they want to bring in somebody who can provide more offense within their top six, specifically. Pavel Buchnevich hasn't had the type of season that they anticipated. Some guys offensively, including Saad, hadn't worked out for them. So, yes, you've got some guys out there, obviously Kyrou leading the way, and Holloway's had a solid season as well by his standards. But they want to provide more of an offensive flair for this group. So we'll see kind of what St. Louis ends up pulling off here. But Doug Armstrong has a little more flexibility to work with, and he's going to look at some potential fits. Now, with respect to Brandon Saad, again, that $4.5 million cap hit is gone. So you can look to see certain teams that are looking at depth, like a Toronto, like a Dallas, Calgary, even Washington, looking to bring in somebody on the wings to kind of fill a mid-6 scoring role and hope that he can regain a little bit of that flair. They're going to look at him as a potential option in and around a $1 million prorated contract for the duration of this season. That's going to be something to look at. We could see something there as soon as this weekend.
Very intriguing. Saad's name, of course, on the Stanley Cup. Drew Doughty's on there twice. Returning to the Kings lineup, a big deal. However, that means things are going to get a little bit tighter cap-wise. What can we expect from Los Angeles in terms of what they're going to try to do if they can find the right match.
Yeah, Doughty's back. He's got his first game under his belt here tonight in South Florida. He's going to be playing on Saturday. He might play tomorrow. We'll see how he ends up doing tonight. But, yeah, with him back, the salary cap for L.A., basically they're right at it. They don't have a lot of wiggle room. They do have some extra pieces that they could have some flexibility with cap-wise. You know, Brant Clark was scratched this evening so that Drew can get into the lineup. That's caused a whole stir. Although I would be a little bit surprised if they go in that direction. What they would like to do, the LA Kings, is add more offense. They want to bring in somebody who has a right shot that can slot into their top six. They've had trouble, it's no secret, scoring goals lately. They want to be in a position to add. And those are two guys right there that have you have Palmieri, who's a pending UFA at $5 million. You've got Brian Rust, who's got term. He has a full no-move clause, and Palmieri has some no-trade protection. But these are two players, right shot guys, that you can enter into a second line position and allow them to create some offense for a club that desperately needs it, which is funny considering they have guys like, you know, Kempe, Kopitar, and Fiala. But Trevor Moore has regressed a little bit offensively this season. He's also battled injury. They want to bring in somebody on that right side, not only for that, but also to help out their power play as well. So that's going to be something that Rob Blake and his staff are going to try to maneuver, again, with limited cap space. They may have to get creative here in order to pull something off, but that's what they're going to be looking for between now and the deadline.
When news breaks, you help fix it for us. David Pagnotta, thanks so much.